Do we have a P.O. box yet? No, I know we talked about it at one point.
What?
I'm the Pogcaster.
I'm here for this weird pseudo, like borderline, like.
Because it produces, beautiful, wonderful heroes of an individual like myself.
So, breaking news in the Fortnite community. Over to you, Dan.
It's not even breaking. It's not breaking anymore, dude. It happened like a week ago.
I was going to say it broke like a week and a half ago, but that's not important.
Did you... Okay, so... I mean, everyone probably knows, but I'm gonna talk about it anyway because I think it's super fascinating.
Don't.
Except
you
for
guys
Jackson.
were talking about Fortnite thing, and I was like, I have no idea.
So Jackson, you've seen 1984, right? The film 1984,
like,
or the fucking, you've read the book rather, 1984.
The George Orwell. Yeah.
Do you know of an old 1984 Apple commercial that was about it? Like it was a direct reference. Let me pull it up and I'll send it to you.
I think I know what you're talking about. They like smash like the computer and there's like Apple.
Yeah, exactly.
One guy is different than the rest, and it's the Apple guy and the irony.
Yeah, exactly. So this is, I've linked the trailer. It is weird and propaganda-y. It's not great. It's really not. It's just no bueno. But what's worse than 1984 as a trailer?
When Fortnite does the same thing.
1980 Fortnite.
That's fucking sick as hell.
Dude.
I was gonna say, I don't know why you hate that. It's actually like hilarious.
It's the
I
worst
watched that
thing.
one.
It is.
I've never seen the original commercial.
Hashtag free Fortnite.
That's exactly well, no, that's what it is, dude. So God, it's so
wow,
cringy.
they did a good job of like copying this entire commercial like beat for beat though.
They did. To be fair, they did. But basically the TLDR is that Epic Games put out a thing where instead of buying their V-Bucks through the Apple Store, you could buy it directly through the app for a very slightly cheaper amount, like 10% cheaper. But it meant that obviously that Apple wouldn't get their cut of it. In response, Apple's like, that's breaking TOS, and kicked them off the platform.
Is it breaking TOS?
It is. It is breaking TOS.
But wait. But what if, because your accounts are across all platforms, what if you just bought your V-Bucks on a PC account, but they went...
Are they across all platforms? Do you know that? I do not. I don't know if
I know
Fortnite...
that you can play console Fortnite with PC Fortnite.
I don't think you can play mobile Fortnite with PC Fortnite, though.
Oh, you can.
You can?
Oh, yeah. I only know because people have made fun of the fact that they let that happen.
That's terrible.
Maybe they stopped it, but it definitely was a thing for like a while.
Yeah, that's terrible. I don't know how the... Let's see. Yeah. So, yeah, they adjusted how cross-platform. So Switch, let's see. Xbox One and PS4 play together by default, and Switch pairs with mobile. And and then you can do, if you're in a party across platforms, you can do basically, however you want to do it. I don't know if the accounts crossover, because, like, for example, you have cross-play for a couple of different games that don't necessarily interact with each other properly. Mm-hmm. But that's not the point. None of that's the point. All that to say, Fortnite has been banned from both the Google Play Store and the Apple Store.
Wait, they also got banned off Google Play? Mm-hmm. Last I checked, they were on there.
I read that they'd gotten kicked off of both. Hold on. Let's see.
Let's fact check that one, buddy boy.
Google Play. Let's see. Yeah, Fortnite for Android has also been kicked off the Google Play Store. So
okay, so this might be a more recent development then.
Yeah, in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And then Fortnite, obviously, so Fortnite knew this was going to happen, obviously. Otherwise, they wouldn't have created an entire commercial about it.
Right.
Ready to drop. And then they sued Apple.
Yeah, I did see that.
Huge brain.
Dude, it is the most wild shit. And it's not really
that wild.
It's so funny. It's so funny to me, the idea that they made a propaganda video. Like, it's straight up like that shit's some propaganda. And they were just like, what if we completely ripped off their old ad but made it Fortnite and made them the bad guy?
I mean, I'll agree there's propaganda, but can you show me a commercial that isn't propaganda?
No, I mean, that's fair, but I feel like this is at least
I think it's more of a parody almost, honestly.
It is. It's over the head. It's
in my opinion, what this does is it galvanizes fans who are too young to know that they're in the wrong.
Yeah.
Which
I'm not even necessarily
make enough of a
that...
Well, it might make enough of a landslide for them to slip this through and get their way because so many people are pissed about it.
See, here's my thing, right? I'm gonna make a claim here, and this is the hot spicy take that hot spicy takes. There's nobody in the wrong on this. Apple is totally in their right to say, hey, maybe don't try and circumvent the rules. And Epic is perfectly in the right to be like, yeah, but what if we want to do that anyway? The problem is that the reason that people are like in a weird place about it is because obviously Apple and Google Play have kind of a monopoly on app stores. Like there really is no other app store that
Come
you
on,
can.
man, the Microsoft Store.
Well, that's the thing though. For Android, there are other options. You can get third-party apps.
Yes, but for Android, you have to, depending on how third party, like you have to do some
You have
work
to
for it.
specifically allow it.
Exactly.
I know some friends of mine used to download like illegal movie apps. I know, scoundrels.
Scoundrels,
I actually
street
never
rats.
did it, but I never did it.
I
But
only had like 7 of them at once.
But yeah, they had to go into their settings and enable third-party applications, and Apple can do that too, but it's a lot harder.
Are you sure they can? I don't think you can.
Apple,
do
let me
like a
rephrase that.
jailbroken
Apple
phone.
used to be able to,
I think
but
you do that.
they
You have
might
to
not let
jailbreak
it
don't
anymore.
you?
Yeah.
So
I think for Apple products, to get any third-party app on it, you have to jailbreak it.
that makes sense.
Which, for the record, is also against terms of service. And a lot of 13-year-old kids playing Fortnite on their phones are not going to jailbreak it because, why?
Well, firstly, a lot of them won't do it right or won't know how to properly.
Mhm.
That's not me trying to like dig at kids for
No,
not
that's just
knowing
a
how to
fact.
do things. It's just a fact, exactly. But also, it's very funny. I'm going to say Epic is in the wrong here, though. I got to say. I
Really?
think they are within their right to say, oh, well, we don't want to have you take 30% of our V-Bucks cut, you know?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
that is the price of doing business with Apple and Google.
True.
Like, sure, the fact that Apple and Google are this crazy monopoly is not okay.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
also, you signed up and said, yeah, no, we'll abide by your terms of service. And then you're like, but now we won't. And they're making such a big deal out of it, trying to turn it into a problem.
Yeah, that's fair.
They are in the wrong. However,
That-
I think it's
for that
very
part, they're-
amusing.
It's very
because
funny,
just
and I would
like-
agree that at a certain point, yeah, they are in the wrong. I don't think them trying to get around it is necessarily wrong. I think trying to galvanize their fucking children
As
fan
soon as
base
they
to
hit
do
a
it.
lawsuit, now they're in
Yeah.
the wrong.
Yeah.
Trying to get some wiggle room out of things, yeah, okay, whatever.
I think
But
they should free Fortnite.
I mean, why not though?
Why he in prison?
Free my homie
Let
Fortnite.
my man Fortnite go. He didn't do anything.
What if the real thing we needed to jailbreak was Fortnite?
Yeah, never owned an iPhone before.
I used to have
Neither
an iPod
have I.
Touch. That's actually for the longest. I don't know if you remember that time in my life now, but for the longest time, that was the only communication device I had outside of like a computer.
I remember that, yeah. It was like, I feel like that was a big thing in the homeschool circles. Your moms wouldn't
Yeah,
let
it
you,
was.
like, no one's mom would let you have a cell phone.
But you could have an iPod Touch.
Everyone could have, an iPod Touch, and every one of them downloaded Kick and talked.
Oh, I didn't use Kick. I used WhatsApp.
Okay, fine. Everyone used Kick or WhatsApp. But still, you
Yeah.
know, like, everyone
Yeah.
got around. It's not hard to get around. It's stupid to
No,
assume
not
that
at
you
all.
can't get past that.
Yeah, exactly. Dude,
Good old days.
the whole situation is so
Homeschooled?
fascinating to me.
Oh, the Fortnite thing.
The Fortnite thing.
Homeschooling is very fascinating to me, though.
Homeschooling is also very fascinating to me, but I mean, not so fascinating. I'm like, man, you guys remember when we were all homeschooled?
I wasn't homeschooled.
I know you weren't.
Would you guys homeschool your kids?
Absolutely fucking not. Not even a little
What
bit of a
about you?
question. But you know,
I didn't
The kid-
hear the question. I'm
Oh.
sorry.
Wow. Noah hates me, and
Noah-
it's confirmed.
Noah hates children is what I got out of that.
Let's just never
This
ask
is
Noah the
not
question
new.
and move on.
This is I was gonna say that is fair, Jackson. You are asking two people who have repeatedly said that they don't want kids.
Noah, if you had kids, would you homeschool them?
I don't know. I enjoyed my time homeschooling, but I don't think I'd take my kids K through 12 because
I
there's a
think
lot
that's
of
fair,
social
yeah.
development that I didn't get until I was like at a job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
That,
don't want to be
like-
that one who has to bully my kids, you know? No, I do.
I don't see. I guess my issue is like I'm happy that I had what I had, right? Like I'm not unhappy with my situation. However, looking back, I feel like I could have avoided a lot of like kind of awkward situations if I had not been homeschooled the entire way through, or if I had like not done extracurricular stuff, because like I did things outside of like the homeschool community, you know.
Mhm.
But like I don't know, I feel like I would have gotten a lot out of other things. Flip side,
That's
I'm
a-
really bad at deadlines, and while I love learning in a structured classroom environment, I don't deal well with other things like that. So
See, I found that a structured like classroom environment made deadlines 9 bajillion times easier to handle.
and I do believe that.
Like, because even now, you know, obviously we've talked about me having bonus content on the back burner for like 6 months now. Like,
Mhm.
the reason that it's been so difficult to do is because I don't have a fucking classroom setting of like, oh, here's the deadline.
I mean,
what if I don't
can
do it on
send
time?
you a strongly worded disappointed email if you want me to.
Dad? Although,
Really?
if you send, I want you to know if you send me a strongly worded disappointed email, I will read it. I will record a add-on to both of the pieces of bonus content and put it there.
Of you reading the email like,
Yes.
Mr. Miller, I just am writing to say I'm very disappointed in your performance as of late.
No hard deets.
We all spend eternity somewhere. Do you want to spend it in Dan's render queue?
Everything is in my render queue. My render queue is a fucking black hole from which there's no escape. What if we were all render queues?
We're all render queues now. Oh, what a mess.
You guys.
But yeah, I guess to answer the question, yeah, I probably would homeschool my kids, but not past, I don't know, not past 6th grade, probably, right? Like that way you're not dropping them in high school, because that feels rude
Unfair.
to me.
Yeah.
It feels very unfair. But
Well, and I
also,
think one of the things about like the homeschool community is like they do try and supplement a lot of the things that you don't get from strictly a home environment, but like the supplements are always in a circle where everyone else is homeschooled.
yeah.
So it's just like throwing a whole bunch of kids and be like, this is a dance, but then not like
I see we're talking
You know.
about homeschool prom again, what I believe to be one of the silliest things.
I completely agree.
It's
But,
like,
yeah,
oh,
they're
hey,
like, this is
remember,
prom.
you're not allowed to like girls. You're not allowed to go talk to girls. You're not allowed to touch girls. Hey, why aren't you dancing with that girl right now?
Yeah,
It
dude.
always was the silliest thing to me.
Homeschool prom.
Homeschool prom.
Yeah, it's something.
Okay, so
Just throwing like a couple like really mean high school kids, and then
well, here's the thing,
You can
though, right?
thrive.
Is that as a homeschooler, you're literally like it's straight up like you are told time and again, oh, those high school kids might be mean to you, but that's just because they're the high school kids. Like they went to public school.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's
I
why
got-
that is actually why they'd be mean to you. Well, no, they'd be mean to you because you didn't go to public school.
Well, but it's more of a like, oh, don't worry, they don't have any valid reason to be mean to you. They're just mean because, as we all know, public school kids just worse than homeschoolers is always the sense I got anytime someone brought that sort of thing up.
yeah,
It's this weird, not weird, makes sense. It's this weird like self-aggrandizing, self-important thing that I've never fully understood and always felt was kind
Well,
of
I think at least in your guys' particular homeschool circle, it was a very religious thing.
it was, yes.
There was a lot
Like,
of
not that it was
religious
done
100%.
for religious, but like it was the two were very interconnected.
Mhm.
At least in this area. But like my old roommate from Austin, the opera singer,
Yeah.
he was homeschooled, but it was more of a
Was it a government
less
thing?
what?
Was it a government thing?
Yeah, it was more of like a it was more of a farming and government thing, and less of a God wants me to love my kids, and more of a we can't trust the government.
One of those like borderline prepper families?
Yeah, and like the thing is like, and like. I mean, he turned out a little bit crazy, but he's fairly cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like
And like all his siblings
yeah.
are a little bit crazy, but fairly cool.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Is that there are distinctly ways that you can socialize your kid and still homeschool them. That is a thing you can do.
I don't know that he got socialized. I think he just got lucky.
Well, that was where I was gonna go with it. But like, there's also an aspect of like, so my little brother is in. Let's call my little brother out. My little brother's in college right now, and like I know for a fact he's struggling real hard because of the lack of socialization. I did okay in college as far as socialization worked, but that's more of like a lucky / personality thing than anything else. Like I didn't do amazing, but like I got lucky with it. Whereas I feel
Also-
like if he had gotten the social interaction as a kid that he definitely distinctly needed, it would have gone a lot smoother for him once he got into an environment where that social interaction was like necessary to be part of the like to be accepted, for lack of a better word.
Also, my older roommate was like I think like 6'3" and pretty shredded.
Nice.
And came from a good bit of money.
Nice.
So I mean, there's like a couple other factors
That go
lead
into,
someone
that go into
socializing
that.
well. But I mean, I socialized pretty well, and I think public school helped me with it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I definitely missed out on a ton of socialization and like a ton of like I'm usually pretty good understanding people and I'm usually pretty decent at it, but like I missed out on a lot of that, like learning how to do that properly and appropriately because I didn't go to real school.
And there are some enemies of the podcast who also went to public school with me. Namely Sam, known enemy of the podcast.
Known enemy of the podcast.
Known enemy.
Sworn enemy of the podcast.
Not of any of us individually, to be clear. We're
No,
all
yeah,
like,
no, I have a problem.
actually-
But she is an enemy of the podcast.
Actually, it is there are some specifics here. We do have
Oh no.
Oh well,
What's
no,
it?
I guess it is just the whole podcast now. I used to be safe, but now it's everybody.
Yeah, see?
What's that?
That's what I'm saying. So Sam, on like a personal level, we're all fine. It's just,
Yeah, no,
as a
but
podcast, Sam is canceled.
She's our enemy.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's our
but
absolute enemy.
As a podcast, Sam, as her patron shout out, specifically says, as a sworn enemy of the podcast, I'm coming for everyone's left shoe. You have been warned.
This makes sense.
That does track. That as we all know, that is the most clear way to show how offended you are with somebody and with their
True.
actions.
I mean,
And I think
That's what
as
I
a
do.
sworn enemy of the podcast, I do have to say, Sam did go to public school with me. We went to the same school. So clearly the system isn't perfect because it produces, beautiful, wonderful heroes of an individual like myself. And then
Paragons,
also
even.
despicable villains and enemies of podcasts such as Sam.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
as we all
really,
know.
yeah. Perhaps there's more to it than just the system.
Are you trying to tell me that there is a nature versus nurture thing going on here? That sounds fake.
No, I just think public school isn't the entire reason why we turn out how we do.
No, I'm pretty sure it's only based on your schooling. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know though, because I'm not an enemy of the podcast, and Sam's an enemy of the podcast.
I think you're only not an
And we
enemy.
went to the
But to
same
be fair,
school.
if you weren't on the podcast, you definitely could have become an enemy of the podcast.
I guess that's true, huh?
Like,
The
I feel like
enemy
you
of
got-
my enemy is my podcast.
The enemy of my podcast is my friend? Wait,
Sometimes.
sometimes. In case of Sam,
Why not?
definitely.
There you have it, folks.
Guys, we
So
did
if
it.
you want to be my friend, you have to hate the podcast.
seems easy enough.
hate the podcast, don't hate the podcaster.
Are we podcasters? I hate saying that.
I don't like that either.
I didn't like it either, but I liked hate the sin. Love the sinner.
Why'd you say it out loud? You didn't need to bring that into our life.
Now we're all podcasters.
What if we're all podcasters now?
I'm the pogcaster.
Oh,
Like-
okay. Can we talk about?
Thank you.
I love
The
that.
more people tell me, like, the more people use the word "pog" around me in any
Hell
of
yeah.
its various forms, the more I'm like, why? Like, just
They're trying to pog up.
It's
You
not
know?
that's not a very poggers moment of you, Dan.
Yeah. You're
yeah.
not
See,
pogging
this
out
is
of your
why I
gourd.
don't express my disgust with things on air.
I love the phrase "pogged out of my gourd."
That is actually pretty good. I'll give you that.
I
No, that
say
one I'll
it
give
all
you.
the time.
I love
I'll give you that one.
so
I'll give you that
much.
one.
Thank you. Like whenever I'm playing video games with my friends, I'll walk in and I'll steal a dragon or something away from the enemy team, and then I'll scream, "I'm pogged out of my gourd." It's very exciting. Are you kidding? I'm pogged out of my gourd right now. It kind of comes off like that. It's really fun. It's really fun. It's super dumb.
Oh, that's so good.
It's very fun. Yeah, it's a nice little. It's a good time. Pogged out of my gourd.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Oh man.
I'm glad Noah like that.
I
So yeah,
just-
that's why
oh.
I think
I'm sorry. I'm just I'm just very happy right now.
thank you. I'm glad that I could help.
I'm not. I'm unhappy.
Well, let me tell you a story that might make you happy. Are you ready?
That sounds very unlikely, but yeah, sure.
We're going to talk about this morning at work and what a time it was. Okay, so I had to be at work like 15 minutes earlier than usual. So obviously I woke up like 45 minutes earlier because I knew
Yeah.
that if I didn't actually wake up at 5, I wasn't going to make it. So I end up showing up to work at like 6:45 when I didn't need to be there until 7:15. And I go to my office to just decompress, get ready for the day, rock some rolls. And then I see that my internet's out and I can't prep any of the live streams for the day or anything that I wanted to do. So I'm like, huh,
Can't do your job.
exactly. So I'm like looking around and I'm like, well, this sucks. And then I call some people. I'm like, hey, my internet isn't working. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, it's not working. And they're like, well, try another computer. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I went to the server and it's just not turned on.
Amazing.
So right now we have no idea what's going on with it. I sit from 6:45 in the morning until 8:40 when I need to stream at 9 with no internet, and I'm just prepping everything, and I'm like, I guess I'm just going to record everything and then upload it later because I don't have a lot of options right now.
Yeah.
And in the middle of all this, this is a weird enough thing. I go back to my office and I notice something on my desk. It's 2 pennies, and one says Noah and one says Dina with a D, Dina. And I'm like, who the hell is Dina?
Are you sure it's not Dinah, as in someone's in the kitchen with?
I am
Yeah.
sure because the part of the story that I'll get to in a second.
Okay.
So I spend my entire day wondering who likes me enough to get me a customized keychain dongle, but not
but
enough to know what
doesn't-
Nina's name is. And like Nina's name was on a penny that was 1990 with a little heart around the date, and
I saw
my
that.
name was 2019 with a little heart. And I'm like, well, this doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't seem
it
right
makes
at all.
absolutely no sense.
Like if they both said 2019, I'd get it, you know? Like we started our relationship then, it works out, blah, 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 blah. But Nina wasn't born in 1990. I wasn't even born in 1990.
Dina
you know?
was.
So, but, well, that's the thing. Dina was. As it turns out, after I am just bamboozled for, I don't know, dude, like 6 hours, showing this picture to people being like, who put this on my desk in my locked office in the 2 days I haven't been around? Because it had to have happened recently. I don't know
was
who did it,
Dina.
because while everyone in the office has access to my office because everyone has the master code, no one goes in my office. Like it's just a tiny little coffin of a room. There's nothing there for anyone, you know?
Yeah.
So someone, I'm assuming some cleaning staff, found these coins somewhere, and having a vague enough memory of Nina, saw my name and something that looked like Nina, and they're like, oh, these must be Noah's. And they put them tucked away on my desk in a way that, like, I wouldn't immediately notice them. They were, like, kind of put away. As it turns out, they belong to the man with the office next to mine. It's his wife's name and his newborn son. And
I love it so much.
For some reason, they ended up in my office. There should be another one or two. I'm assuming there's one of his names somewhere. But then he has another son, so I'm assuming he's missing his full set. But like, how did this end up in my room? I'm still very curious, and I would love to know how they ended up with me.
I think this story has such a fucking like unexpected fake out ending, and I love it so much. Because you told the story into the podcast Discord, and we were losing our dang minds. Like it was a gift. How could someone have been such a fool? And like, don't get me wrong, in this case, yeah, you were the fool. But God,
Was I
doesn't
the
make
fool,
it any
though?
less funny.
Was he the fool?
You're a little bit the fool.
Well, I guess you probably should have known a little bit more about your neighbor.
I'm not even saying that
Well, that's the
necessarily. I'm just
thing.
saying maybe Noah was a little bit the fool. I understand not knowing that much about your neighbor. That's totally acceptable. Who knows about their neighbor? But
I mean, what gets me is I showed it to people in the office who know way more about this asshole than I do. And like,
and nobody filled you in. Nobody was like, hey,
Yeah.
actually.
his name was brought up, and it's like, oh, well, his wife's name is Dina, but who's Noah? And everyone forgot he had a kid.
That's so funny.
And now this is a man who I have 4 emails in a row to him about like having to get back to me about some deadline item that like he wanted me to update something and he just never got back to me.
Mhm.
So like, I don't want to email him and tell him I found these things because I will flip my lid if that man answers that email and not any of the 4 emails I've sent him saying, hey, get me your information.
I have
Yeah, that'd
100%
be-
done that to people before, and it's not a good feeling, but I've definitely done that. Ignored all messages until it was the one that I was like, oh shit, I actually should respond to this one.
Yeah, I mean, like, if it weren't for the fact that he's run into me in the hallways and I know he's like actually ignoring me at this point, I don't think I'd care. But he's actively ignoring me. So
So
I
fucking funny.
kind of don't want to return these things because they're very funny to me and I want
That
to
is
keep
very
them.
funny. Yeah,
But now that I've shown enough people, I don't think I
kinda
can get
have
away
to.
with it, firstly. And also,
Yeah.
I'd feel bad about it. Because, I mean, it's his freaking
I
kid
don't know
and his
that you
wife.
should. Yeah, but
They're
he obviously
pennies.
doesn't care that much about him.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, these things can't cost more than, like, they probably cost,
penny.
like, $10 a piece, realistically.
Sure.
Which is far too much money.
Because they're only worth a penny.
Exactly. Like, come on.
And they were already in for a penny.
That means they're in for a pound.
pound of
That is what
pennies?
they mean. A pound of
How
pennies.
much
Maybe
is a
that's how much
pound
they
of
cost. Maybe they
pennies
cost a pound.
That sounds
This
right
is a
to me.
terrible fucking bit. All right, moving on.
No, I agree.
How many pennies in a pound? 145. That's not a lot of pennies.
That's not that many pennies.
though.
How much is a pound worth versus a dollar?
$1.45.
So really
never
it's
mind.
145
Wait.
pennies in a pound.
It's
Did you ask how much 145 pennies was worth?
No, I asked how much a pound was worth. I said so, and I said, oh, so 145 pennies worth.
it's actually it's 180 zinc pennies because they're a little bit lighter. They have less copper.
Mm. So he's in for a penny and in for almost a pound, no matter how you swing it.
It's over a pound.
And for a penny, you better pay $1.80.
Yes, that's the line. That's it. This is I am so pleased that you had to go through this. I'll be honest.
I am too. It was such a surreal part of my day that I really just didn't know how to handle it.
How could you? What do you like? Again, what are you supposed to do with all this?
I mean, I don't know.
It's just a lot. It's just a lot, and I'm very pleased.
It's been such an off-kilter day that I really haven't appreciated, and then suddenly here it is out of nowhere, this crazy last-minute resolution, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can get behind this. I still
love the idea of somebody, like you said, knowing you well enough to know when you started dating, not well enough to know when, not well enough to know Nina's name.
No, that was what I was so worried about. It's like,
it's so funny
because some of the people from the office are getting invited to the bridal shower. So I'm like, oh no, who from the office was dumb enough to not know her name and is going to show up to the bridal shower and learn that they were really stupid? But now I know it wasn't someone being stupid. It was someone just giving me someone else's property.
Which objectively is much funnier.
Yeah, also feels stupid in hindsight.
Oh, it's so good, dude. It's such a gift. It's such a stupid, dumb gift of a day. I'm very happy that you hadn't found a resolution to this before the end of your day, because I really think that this could have been a whole thing for like weeks on end of confusion and not understanding what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I would have just taken them home with me.
Yeah,
and
you would have had to, and then they would have never made it back.
I would have just kept. If I hadn't reached out to so many people, I just would have kept them.
Yeah,
they would have been mine now.
And then 5 years now down the line, this guy's wife would have been like, "Hey, remember those cute little pennies?" And he would have been like, "Oh yeah, I do remember those." She would have been real mad because he didn't have them. Yeah, it would have been a whole thing. Very sad way. Not that sad.
Very sad.
Play Despacito.
Perhaps the saddest. Yeah, I don't know. It is kind of funny though. That like, what are the odds that the person with the office directly next to you
has a wife and a son?
A son named Noah and a wife named Dina.
Isn't it just?
Is the person next to you from the future?
God, I hope not. I hate that man. If that's me, then it's not a good time.
Is it the worst timeline?
He's got nicer facial hair than me, but by golly, he's almost bald, and he's only like 30.
Oh no, it's me.
No,
wait, it's me
blonde.
From the future.
You're not blonde enough. This guy's like blonde.
I could dye my hair.
I mean, you could. Why would you want to dye your hair?
So I could be blonde. So it could be me from the future. I feel like you're really missing the point here. I feel like.
Shoot, dude, you're right. You don't want to be this man though. I promise you can do way better in life.
That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound like me at all.
Let's talk about something else.
What's his full name and address?
His whole name and address is.
Wow, I can't believe Noah just gave him.
I can't believe Noah just doxed him, man.
Name and address.
Doxing is illegal, right? Isn't that a thing you can be charged with?
Is it illegal?
I know. Try and arrest me.
I think for like police purposes, it definitely is, and I know it's against like every terms of service on the planet.
I would simply dox the prosecutors.
Damn.
What are you gonna do? Undox yourself? I don't think so, buddy.
I don't love that. I'm not gonna lie to you. You guys, hard subject shift because I think this has gone off the rails far enough.
Thank God, yeah.
You guys, I went out and picked up the keys to my new apartment this week. I gotta tell you, I am so excited. I've been packing all week. I've been packing most of the day, ever since I got up at 1 p.m, that is. And it's just been an adventure. It's finally like at the point where I am a week. Actually, I probably won't be on the podcast next week because of it, but I'm a week away from moving. I move next weekend. And I'm just excited. My new place has I'm gonna have my own office, like my own little man cave, if you will. I would rather you didn't, because I hate the term man cave.
I will.
Michelle's gonna have her own little office as well, and it's just gonna be really good, and I'm really, really excited.
Nice.
I'm gonna spend so much money on LEDs for my space.
Don't do it.
Dude, I want LEDs everywhere. It's LEDs all the way down.
How else would they know you're a gamer, I guess?
How else would they guess? I'm going to put LEDs under the couch and not tell Michelle. And then one of these days, we'll be in the middle of a fight and I'll be like, well, check this out.
It's a really good idea.
Will you also put like a hoverboard under the couch so it can hoverboard in a circle and look just like so cool?
Well,
That'd be
now I
very cool.
am.
Your lowrider couch.
And then you have to dab.
My low rider couch. Yeah, that's I can't believe you've discovered my plan. I can't believe you've doxed my plans.
I do what I can.
It'd be so much fun.
Dude,
A
I'm
little
so
motorized couch.
wasn't that a bit from something?
I hope so.
I distinctly remember seeing a motorized couch on something somewhere.
I just feel like it'd be fun to
I'm
have like a
Googling it
little
up.
like, couch you can sit on and have like a little control panel, like a little joystick, and you can move around.
Yeah, there are a couple of places that have done motorized sofas. I love
I
it.
hope so.
I love it so much.
What's your guys' favorite piece of furniture?
I like those chairs that are they're clearly only supposed to be for one person, but they're like 1.5 person wide.
Love
it's
seats.
Love seats, yeah.
No, not a love seat. It's like a single
I
person
hate
chair
seat.
that's just a little too wide, not a full love seat. And it's also like hard walls and like firm cushion kind of thing. So you can like sit real comfy in it, but it also has like great support. You know those chairs?
I feel like you're just describing a love seat.
No,
I think you're just describing a big chair.
That
I
is
think
also
I
fair.
am. But not like an overstuffed armchair. I actually really hate those.
Maybe it's
I agree.
just a chair for a bigger person, Noah. You fuck.
What's that energy coming
Yeah.
from? As a bigger
you
person?
fuck.
Am I not?
Yeah, you fuck.
I don't
I hate
understand.
Noah.
No.
Noah, enemy of the
all my
podcast.
homies hate Noah.
I guess I'll just leave the podcast then.
At least he gets it.
Good. I'm glad. This is the resolution we've come to. Favorite piece of furniture? I don't know, man. You know what? I'm actually a huge fan of bookcases. I know that's stupid, super fucking lame, but like
Nah,
I'm a
bookcase.
huge fan of like
I'm
a
talking more like-
nice, well-made bookcase.
I'm talking
I
about like
discovered-
furniture you can sit on, not like
furniture that I can sit on. Definitely
yeah,
a
like
big like. So I had a chair. No, you were at my old place. Do you remember that big ass chair in the old apartment? The one that was definitely what meant for like one person, but it was huge enough that you could have like a friend on either side on the armrests.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I think yeah,
that chair.
yeah.
That chair was the shit. I know you said you don't like giant overstuffed chairs, but man, that chair was the shit.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that one, but you know, more
That's
power
super
to
fair.
you.
That's fair. Speaking of bookcases, because I know we're not talking about bookcases, but now I am. Have you guys seen Book Nooks? I've never
Very
seen
cool.
them before, like a week or so ago, and they are so cool.
very cool. Yeah,
I really, really want to get one for the one in our new place, and part of me wants to like actually build it myself, but I also know that like that's stupid, and I don't have any of the tools or materials that I would need to do that. The last thing I need to do right now is pick up another hobby, but very, very, very cool. And I keep seeing ones that are like, I mean, granted, it's because there's some nerd shit, but like even the ones that are like little cityscapes or like little alleyways and shit they're so neat.
they're really neat.
And they're like, you get the little mirror at the back, so it does like the cool, like it looks like it goes on forever, but it obviously doesn't.
In Infinity Mirror?
Sort of, but it's at like an angle and against another mirror, so like it kind of like looks like there's a curve, and then like you can almost see around the curve, but not quite.
Oh. Yeah, one of those guys. Just some mirrors.
I guess it's still technically almost an infinity mirror because it is kind of going off, forever, but not really, but sort of. Very cool. I've decided I want one, and I also decided that I don't want to pay for one. So which means, unfortunately for me, that I will not be getting one anytime soon.
Maybe next time.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how long. Michelle and I have been talking about it a lot. I think we're going to stay at this. So this apartment that I'm in right now. Actually, the podcast has been along for all this ride so far.
Maybe.
The one that I'm in right now, was kind of it was a totally fine decision based on the information we had. But once we moved in, we suddenly had much better job opportunities than we thought, and so desperately need to be closer to New York City than we are right now. And so we've kind of been like stuck here. In a weird way, the quarantine has been really helpful because it means that Michelle doesn't have to drive an hour and a half one-way commute every single day. The new place is less than 20 minutes outside of New York City, like away from Michelle's job, which is very, very exciting.
The Big Apple.
Dude, I love New York. I love big cities, though, so that's okay. I know a lot of people do not.
I'm a fan. I just hate that you can't do anything you want in them.
I mean, that's fair.
People just like I was thinking about that. I was really mad about that at work the other day. Not like genuinely mad, but I was just like, come on, why can't I just like buy a boat and live on it? Why am I not allowed to do that?
Are you
Aren't
not
you?
allowed to do that?
No,
I thought if you got a
you're not
houseboat.
allowed.
Aren't
You have to get a
houseboats
houseboat, and houseboats are so different than boats, and most of them aren't even mobile.
Mm.
You have to go through
Really?
like all these you have to go through like all these loops to do any of that. You can't just be like, I would like to live on a boat.
Interesting.
That's
I
dumb.
mean, I feel like technically you could just literally live on the boat, and then it would just be you'd have to have some place on land that you could say this is also my home.
Yeah.
Well, I think your problem, Jackson, doesn't it then become you just don't want to have to worry about that end of things?
I just don't want to have to like jump through hoops to do something legally that there's no reason it shouldn't be legal.
I feel like the big thing is that it's not, you don't have a permanent, it's, you need to have a permanent address, and like by definition you can't have a permanent address on a boat.
You can get mailed to a marina though.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it your permanent address. Like it you can get all sorts of shit. I can get shit mailed wherever I want, but like if I'm not there to pick it up, then it's not, as far as the government's concerned. Obviously, even if you just didn't go back to your home ever, it would still count as your permanent address, and like they would be like, oh well, water laws are weird. Water laws across the board are just weird. Like that's I think where I'm getting at. Like the concept of international waters is weird to me.
Yeah.
Really?
It should be owned
Yeah.
by me.
Because like somebody's got to make rules somewhere. Like even fucking we have fucking rules on the moon about what you can and can't do there.
I'm in the opposite boat where I don't think there should be any rules.
I mean that's also fair. I can respect that.
It depends on the rules. Some rules I'm just like, eh.
Man, I've been going
Like,
through
how
that
come
a
I
lot.
can't just like collect rainwater without going to jail?
I've been going through that a lot lately, where on one hand I really like the idea of like, you know what, the government really shouldn't touch my shit, and then I look at like capitalism and I'm like, you know what, maybe it's okay if there are some rules. You know,
I just want to be able to collect rainwater without going to prison.
that
And
makes
you
too
don't
much
actually
sense.
go to prison. You just get like a big fine. But like, come on, why? There's probably some reason for it, but like,
I'm
I
sure
wanna-
I'm sure it's like a health reason, right? Like it's got to be a like, oh well, the rainwater in your town got me sick, so therefore go fuck yourself.
I think it's actually more along the line of it keeps people from collecting and hoarding rainwater.
Is that a problem that people have?
Well, here's the thing. To use The Simpsons as an incredibly over-the-top example, Mr. Burns, who owns the nuclear power plant, to keep people from switching to solar energy, built a gigantic arm that blocked out all the sun over the town.
That's
was a
very
good
funny.
idea.
So
Capitalism.
obviously, people can't do that in real life. However, what if people started collecting the water in such a large way that it actually affects the ecosystem?
I feel like then you're dealing with corporations again, because I don't think a single person.
Well, you are, and corporations aren't allowed to do it either.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. I'm okay with rules about corporations. Like corporations should have all sorts of rules because they keep fucking
I
everything
want
up.
to be able to water my garden without having to get it from the sink.
I'm surprised you can't do that.
You
That
can't
does
do that.
surprise me.
Well,
Is that a
you're
regional
very
thing?
careful about it, you can.
Yeah,
You
I
just
mean,
have to
obviously,
be
like I
careful
do,
about it.
but
Just don't get caught.
yeah, I don't know what the statute of limitations is on collecting rainwater, but I spoiler alert, I do it anyway. I'm a criminal. Lock me up.
Breaking the law.
Sometimes I just,
Jackson, known criminal element.
which is just funny because you can just go buy like a rain barrel at
Yeah.
Tractor Supply Co. But it's not that. It's just a water basin. You're like, come on. We all know what this
Can't call
is.
it that. Yeah. Totally different. I don't know why you would even assume. In fact, the fact that you keep assuming is very weird and kind of offensive. How dare you assume that I will use this? Definitely not a rain barrel. You know what you should use instead?
I'm listening. I'm
You
in.
should use Noah's giant bong.
My giant
the
baby Yoda, ball.
one. You know how
The
much rainwater you can collect in that bad boy?
do you know how much rain? You know what? That's enough rainwater. You could upset the ecosystem with that.
I mean, are you trying to, Dan? I need to let you know that is the water in the baby Yoda bong is illegally harvested rainwater.
No!
honestly, I'm here for it. I'm here for this weird pseudo, like borderline, like it's like the fake anarchy that so many people want. Like the fuck the police. I will collect the rainwater and nobody can stop me, and I will use it to smoke from my giant baby Yoda bong.
This is true.
No, that's the real anarchy that I want right now.
That's what
It's
all
what I'm
anarchists
doing.
want.
Honestly, I'm not
Literally
against it.
right now.
Actively
No,
here on
don't
the
do it.
podcast. No,
Put
stop.
that baby
What have you
Yoda bong
done?
down. I can see it
doing
from my
this all.
house.
It's so large you can see it past the curvature of the earth.
Jackson lives on a boat inside the baby Yoda bong.
That's how you do it. You get your boat to be on private property, then you can probably do it.
What?
Like if you had your own lake, right?
Mhm.
You could probably just have that be your house and not have it be a problem.
But then you still have the loop, like the hoop loop jump of you have to own property.
And you're
Well, no,
also
that's the
not
thing.
really living on you're living on a boat, but you don't have any of the freedoms that come
The
with it.
nice
You're just
parts
in the
about-
water.
Yeah. I was
Also,
talking
on
about
the
that.
subject of international waters,
Mhm.
you're
Okay,
saying
listening.
that you think it's weird that there's like, aren't there some laws out there? Like there's like basic laws that everyone has
ve-
agreed.
I have no
Pirates
idea. Let's look
code.
at- Yar.
Yar.
But like, right? Like the basic rule is that, oh yeah, we're out on international water. You're not allowed to steal from other people's boats. But like,
Yeah, that's the pirates code.
and that's
Are
pretty
there
much it,
laws
right?
on the high seas?
I don't think that's the way to Google that, Dan.
There are no laws in the high seas, matey.
Damn.
The laws of the country owning the vessel or structure upon which the crime has been committed hold sway.
Yeah, that's why a lot of like the cruise ships, they use like international labor laws by like making themselves technically owned by a country in which there are very little to no labor laws, so they can functionally exploit their
fun.
employees as slaves. But it's fun because you can get pizza at 2 a.m.
With respect to international crimes such as piracy, human trafficking, and crimes against humanity,
Yar.
any country or international organization can theoretically claim authority over the matter using the concept of universal jurisdiction.
Yar.
This concept could be used to justify the right of one party or another to thwart the criminal activity as it happens, bring charges against the assailants, or try the assailants in their own national or international courts.
Yar.
Okay.
And
So
you can,
basically, what
but
I'm hearing is you
government
can collect
officials in one
rainwater
country
while you're
might-
out on a boat.
Yeah, you can
Maybe.
100% collect rainwater
Unless
out
you're on
on
an
a boat.
American boat, or unless an American boat comes by and says, "Hey, that guy's getting rainwater."
Hey, hold on.
Shoot
Got
him!
rainwater.
We've got a rule about that. Kick his ass.
Yes, ocean cops.
I was gonna say Ocean
okay.
New Yorkers.
I would watch a show set in set like I would watch like a fucking TLC show about international water cops.
I wouldn't.
I think there is a show there. Get on it, the world.
I don't know, man. It sounds like it would be like super boring to me.
I mean, yeah, but so it's like Cops as a show in and of itself, and like that's still out there or was still out there.
Is Cops actually canceled?
Yeah, Cops is super canceled.
Nice.
Thank God, honestly.
Maybe the
But
cops
then
got
how are we
canceled.
going to get the sick opening theme from Cops?
Well, I
guess
mean,
you'll just
luckily
have
for us,
to-
we already had the opening theme, so
Nah, I'm pretty sure it was just for that.
It's gone forever now.
it disappeared. Damn.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I should have downloaded it while I had the chance.
One of the, speaking of Cops, one of the like
Okay.
ideas for like a project that I've always wanted to do and have no clue how to even begin to plan it out. I've always wanted to do like a like mini series or something about cops set in like a fantasy universe or like a fantasy New York, essentially. Like I wanted to like, I just love the idea of like a detective show where the answer to like half the episodes is goddamn fucking wizards. Like,
Are you describing the show Bright? Or
I was
the
about to
movie
say,
Bright
isn't
that
that
was on
just Bright?
Netflix?
yeah,
About
but
the
wasn't
magical
Bright,
cops in New York City?
Wasn't Bright absolutely terrible?
I mean,
It was
yeah,
not
but it still
absolutely
happened.
terrible. The problem was that they made black people orcs, and that meant
That's what it
they
was.
were a different race.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying though. Like that, I love that. I love it as a concept, not so much the weird racial undertones or overtones, I guess, as it would be.
I gotta be honest, dude. I don't think you're gonna be able to escape that as the problem.
But here's the thing.
No, we're gonna
just,
make a show about the cops this time. They're not racist.
just make it.
What
just
basis
don't-
can you-
Just
Now that's
What's
a
the
fantasy
issue?
cop show.
Yeah.
don't associate specific. Okay, it's the same problem that you have with like D&D, right? Where all races in D&D are on some level like inspired, were for the longest time. They're supposedly trying to fix that now, but for the longest time so many races in D&D have been heavily inspired by different cultures around the world, and like so all of them kind of were a little racist. And like the simple answer is have a complex like idea for a like have a race that like make races that aren't based on real world races, just have them be people. It's okay to have them just be people.
I mean, yeah, I
Hot
agree,
take.
but the problem is moving away from that.
But I don't I think it's definitely doable. I think that the problem is that for a lot of storytelling, it's easier to have that just be the racial parallel, and you don't have to do that. Like that's on the writers at that point, not on the actual like content of the show itself, or the concept of the show itself rather, or product, whatever the product is. Like D&D had a huge thing recently about like one of the things they're changing up is that all of the what were previously like racial traits and stuff are all getting, or racial stat bonuses rather, are all getting canceled in favor of like a different way to do that, because turns out racial stat bonuses are kind of not great. And like the when you, especially when you build on associations of, and they did it with alignments first, where, all dark elves are bad is not a great take. That's a bad take. Don't have that take, because maybe don't say that the one race that has, like, granted it's dark purple, but like the one that race that is notorious for having darker skin is all bad guys. Maybe don't do that. Like, maybe just don't. And it's possible to fix that. Like, it is doable to fix it.
I didn't say it wasn't. I just said that your fictional cop show about wizards might come off a little bit racist.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Especially if you make all orcs lower class citizens.
I know that was a big thing that people have been talking about was orcs. Nina muted the word orc on her Twitter timeline because there were so many people with really ignorant takes about the whole thing.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, no, it was a freaking mess, because it's like some people were just like, orcs are just basically black people in D&D, and they make them all these brutish, like, thug people, and that's not okay. And it's like, okay,
aren't they much more inspired by, like, Native American culture, if I remember correctly?
So
like the culture on a cultural level, like in a problematic way. I'm saying that on the, like, with the knowledge that is not okay.
I'm about to say something incredibly problematic, and I need to have it highlighted around, like bracketed with, this is not me saying it to be that way. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So orcs culture is based around every primitive mythology culture that they can grab bag. It's like anyone who has mythology that is
around animal spirits and whatnot
is
a target. Yeah,
I would say your biggest blend is Native American and, like, Norse stuff, because there's a lot of that. But regardless, I've seen the new thought being, if you just make it class bonuses instead of racial bonuses, because
that makes so much more sense.
It makes so much more sense for your gnome barbarian to be stronger than your average gnome because they're a barbarian. Classes with bonuses, that makes sense. Because
and I even like the and not for nothing, like, with the way D&D is set up, you can just decide, I actually want the class bonus from something else. Like, I think there's a story to be told of, my gnome barbarian is notably weaker than the average barbarian until he hulks out and gets mad. Like, it's okay to do that. But yes, class bonuses are just a better idea than racial bonuses, just across the board. And I don't even necessarily mind racial, like, certain racial traits. Like, I think that's more okay-ish maybe. I think the racial bonuses are the problem. Like, it's okay if like, okay, and Noah, you can correct me if I'm wrong, and Jackson, feel free to weigh in on this too. Like, I'm trying to remember what the actual, hold on, let me look it up. 5e racial traits.
There are no more disadvantages. There are only 3 points worth of bonuses to everybody.
Let's see. D20 SRD. Is this the actual correct one? Yeah. So like dark vision, right? Like, half of the races in D&D have dark vision, and that's fine. It's okay to have that be the thing. And like things like Dragonborns have draconic ancestry, or like certain breath weapons. Like, that's all fine. But yeah, the negatives of, like, orcs have a minus, I think it was like a -1 or -2 intelligence for the longest fucking time.
Yeah, up until 4 or 5, that was the case.
Yeah, and just, it's okay to not do that. You don't have to do that. It's bad. It's really bad. It's no good, very bad day, And I am glad on some level they're trying to at least pretend to fix it. I also know that notoriously Wizards of the Coast has not been great about that all the time ever.
No, they're not too hot about making that type of stuff work. But they're trying.
But they're pretending
We're
to
getting
try.
there.
They're pretending to try.
Yeah.
And really, like, it's something. I do genuinely wish that there was a better way to do it than what they have been doing. I wish that was I wish you could pull from things culturally without pulling some of the more problematic pieces with it. Like, I wish that people were better about that, because I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to, like, be like, oh yeah, this specific culture in my specific setting is inspired by such and such. Like, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because, like, on some level we all pull from something in the world, right? But it's just not good. It's just not a good. It's a no good, very bad time. People are just no good, very bad.
I don't know that I've ever encountered, like, outside of, like, watching, like, movies where they're like, orcs are the bad guys, and then they give them, like, traits of what people deem to be, or at least of what, like, fucking English people from back in the days of England being the worst, which they still kind of are. They just give them, like, traits that they're like, from an inferior civilization. But, like, I don't know, like, I've never experienced in a game of D&D where there's, like, people bringing, like, antiquated racist ideas into it. But that might also just because of, like, the people I've played with, which is just like, this is my character, he orc, we have fun here. Yeah. But, like, I'm sure there are definitely people out there who are like, we're gonna make this game racist.
Now, gnomes, on the other hand,
I hate them.
I hate fuck gnomes.
Gnomes are bad. Everyone,
so much fun with that.
I did too.
yeah, like some people are like genuine. Like,
I-
I'm sure there's some people who are like genuinely bringing like weird racist ideas into D&D, which is just upsetting to me. Like, why do you have to do that? Why can't you just,
yeah,
I don't know, not be like that?
because people, hot take, are
No,
garbage.
bad take.
I don't think it's a
I
bad
think
take.
that people who play like fantasy games a lot of the times do have some unfortunate attributes to them, and you don't necessarily get the best
racist.
society a lot of the times when you're dealing with man children nerd boys.
Whoa.
I know,
what?
it's
That sounds
unfortunate.
fake. That doesn't sound right at all.
I know it's crazy to think, but I think maybe, just maybe, nerd boys kind of suck.
Nerd boys bad.
Just maybe, yeah.
I think so. Because there's,
okay with
I've
that
also
read.
seen like a lot of blowback of people on Twitter being like, "We should keep racial abilities." And I'm like, "Why?" They're like, I'm racist." You're like, okay, this is what I thought.
Well, that's my favorite thing is when you have to get people to like kind of come to the point where they're like, oh wait. I mean, they never have the self-awareness to say, oh wait, but like it's fun getting them to the point where they just let it all out and stop trying to hide behind whatever they're
I feel
trying to
like
hide behind.
the biggest issue ends up being though is a lot of people they don't think that they're racist because they think of themselves as race realists instead.
Yeah,
Which
that's the
is-
worst.
That's so much
so
worse.
much worse.
But you don't understand. They don't hate black people. They're just trying to let you know that they're just much more suited to be in whatever climate isn't near them.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so upsetting.
Yeah.
Like, stop. But it is always like, did I ever tell you the story about how I was talking to one coworker one time and she was like, I don't like Asians. And I was like, that's really like racist. And
That's
then when I
okay,
was like, hey,
yeah.
that's like really racist and not okay. She was like, yeah, it is. I was like, I don't think I've ever had the encounter where you're like, hey, what you just said is very racist. And then being like, yep.
Sure
I was
is,
like, wow,
fam.
you're just going to agree with me and say that you are a racist. Well,
I gotta be
Gross.
honest. I've never had someone double
that's
down
the only
like
time I
that
ever
on
had
me before.
she was like, I was talking, it's like, oh, like there's so many cool, like, we were talking about like languages. Like, oh, if you could learn like any language, without studying, like just like, boom, right now you know it. What one would you pick? I
Mandarin
picked
is a good
Mandarin.
choice.
And she was like, well, I just don't like Asians. I was like, well, that's really racist, Sam. That's not okay. And she was like,
Oh no, is it Sam?
yeah, no, it's not Sam. No, very different. That was just my coworker's name.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, that's
Whew.
really racist.
Good to know. Known enemy of the
No,
show.
not
Sam.
known enemy of the show, Sam. Who is not racist.
Thank goodness.
Probably.
Did you say probably?
Why would you say probably? why would you say that?
Sam, who is a known non-racist.
Because I know she's gonna listen to the show and call me on
but
it.
Yeah, no, it was one of my coworkers, and she was just like, I was like, hey, that's like really racist. And she's like, yeah, it is. Well, I guess it is. Then it looks like you already know you're racist, so my job here is done, I guess.
here.
If you don't want to work on change, you can just keep our distance from each
What
other.
gross. Maybe we just don't
Yeah,
interact.
I've never
How about
encountered that before until that. This isn't like in my current. This is like an
Wild.
old job. But yeah, I was like, I guess that is an option.
You can, in fact,
can
choose to be
just-
that way.
Admit that you're racist and be openly racist, I guess.
I feel like there are certain pockets of the U.S. that still have that. Like, well, not certain. There are quite a few pockets of the U.S. that have that,
Well,
and it's gross.
I mean, I don't want to be like obviously yes because Jackson has run into them, but yeah.
But also, obviously, yes, because Jackson's run into them.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. You know what people tuned into this podcast for?
Orcs.
Our hot racial takes.
What's your guys?
You know what they should have tuned in for is my Dina story. Very, very funny.
Dina's story
Someone's
is
in
very
the
good.
kitchen.
I'm sorry, Jackson. I cut you
Dina.
off though.
I was gonna say, what's your guys' favorite D&D race?
I don't know. I play orcs a lot because I play barbarians a lot, and orcs just have the bonuses toward that. And I like.
And now you don't have to.
Well, no, I like playing a more like. I feel like I can get into playing a dimensioned character when I'm playing an orc barbarian because even though they're not usually, I like being able to bring in like the spiritualism to the character and be like, oh, he actually had a near-death experience and is now profoundly religious for my one character. Like, I like that a lot.
That's fair.
Beyond that, I usually play humans because I haven't connected to any of the other races yet in a way that I feel like I can play them.
I like playing elves because I like feeling like I'm better than everyone else.
Well, that
See, I hate playing elves because I already know in my regular life that I'm better than everyone else.
There you go.
Why would I
Nice.
play them in a game? Why would I play with myself?
I mean, I can think of a
I do
couple
have a
good reasons.
furbolg character right now. That's pretty fun. It's just a
I do
big-
like it. I'm a huge fan of any of the monstrous races brought kind of forcibly into like air quotes regular, like any of the air quotes monstrous races brought into air quotes regular society. I think they're really fascinating, and like I really enjoy that like dichotomy of, yes, this person distinctly does not like is not culturally accepted here, but it's okay because you know what, nobody's gonna call them on it because I don't play with people who would call people on that. And it's just fun doing the like, I'm a person out of the air, like I'm not from here, I don't understand what this is, explain to me what this, you know, whatever regular thing is. Not quite like person out of time, but I guess kind of a similar idea.
Yeah.
Most of my characters end up being half elves though, because I don't know, man, racial bonuses. I don't know. I also like I've always been a fan of any of the half whatever races too, because I like my mother was a grasshopper, my father was a worm, but I am okay with that now.
I like cat people.
I wish I could play Tabaxi without feeling like a fucking furry.
Tabaxi are cool, and the new Leonin are really cool too.
Ooh, what are the
Lion
Leonin?
people.
I haven't seen
Lion
them.
people.
Oh, that's
Brave
neat.
little lion, man. Yeah, I don't know. I have a Furbolg cleric that I'm playing right now, who is a youth pastor in the 80s, and it's something, all right.
That's very
He's
good.
just like a big old youth pastor, and he's just like really happy, but not really aware of what's going on around him most of the time. Cute guy.
That's very cute. Can we talk about just the fact that you can just play, like, at least in 3.5 era, you could just play like straight up angels.
It's a little weird, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I guess it's no less weird than like playing a tiefling, which is playing a demon. Like you can play like this. I think they're called celestials. What are they called? What the fuck are they called? Because they exist. Azamar.
Yeah, those are...
Oh, duh. Yeah.
I feel the Azamar to me are so much more boring than tieflings.
I agree.
And I don't know why.
Because like their whole thing is they're just like, I'm pretty hot and
basically
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is that all? Yeah, that's all. Okay.
That's it. Yeah, that's their whole shtick.
I guess
Somewhere in my
now.
bloodline, somebody fucked an angel, and here I
We gotta
am.
go home now. Where can we find you at home? What's your address, Noah?
Oh, is it time? It's time.
Oh,
it is
my
time.
address is...
Noah doxed himself.
You know what? Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Should not have said that. Should not have said that. Do we have a PO box yet? No, I know we talked about it at one point.
What?
Did we ever do that?
No, definitely we don't.
Okay, I didn't think we did. Just talking about addresses reminded me that we had talked about it many moons ago.
We have. Yeah, no, I haven't done anything
We
with that
don't
yet.
need it. Nobody has ever asked us, hey, can we send you shit?
No, we have had requests for merch now, an official request, but
Oh, what?
Yep.
Why? Idiots.
because Cloud wants merch.
What does Cloud want from their merch?
I don't know, merch.
I still want that movie suck shirt, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, movie suck is definitely something that we need. Well, we'll talk about it later. You can find me as Bubba Dabad, BUBBADABAD. I am on Twitter and Instagram and other things. I don't remember what I usually do for that bit. I'm on Twitch. Follow me on Twitch. I stream on Tuesdays and Saturdays, and hopefully back into Thursdays soon. Now that I know I can pull off a working on Sunday without working on Thursday. So
hell yeah, Thursdays are back, baby.
not yet. Still not till September
Not
most likely,
yet.
but we're very close. I just have to wrap up the last couple of days and then I'll be set. But anyway, yeah,
I've been waiting so patiently.
you have, and I'm thankful for you.
All
Where
I
can
do
we
is
find
play
you?
GTA. I play GTA every Thursday these days. Actually, it's been a blast. We've been playing through all the heists. Twitch.tv/Born to Rule, Twitter.com/Born to 7. Technically on Instagram, but don't bother. I never use it. I was on it for a hot minute and then I stopped again because I stopped like going out and doing things. Maybe in the new place. Maybe now that I'm going to be in a place where like I can actually just walk and go do things. Probably not. Streaming every Thursday these days. And Saturday, and I'm trying to pick up another evening somewhere, but it's not really feasible right now because of quarantine and whatnot else. So
Yeah. All right.
but it's been a good time.
Podcast. All the links in the show notes. If you want to get a shout out, that's the only shout out I have this week. We did High's shout out last week, and no one else got back to me. So
Wow, haters.
we'll see about the last couple days of the month. But yeah, you know, you can.
So they don't deserve shout outs if they won't get back to you. That's what I'm getting out of this.
Well, I mean, if they run out the month, they run out the month.
If they run out the month, do they get 2 shout outs next month?
No, they do not carry over. But yeah, just
They're
a
a
big
one-time
thanks
thing.
to Edge and Michael. Shout out to y'all. Thank you for helping keep this show rolling. Thank you for helping pay for web hosting so I don't have to stress about that anymore.
We do immensely appreciate it. It takes a lot of like worry about it off of us, and it's very nice. And by us, I mean I do mostly mean Noah, but like obviously we would help out if it was a thing that needed to
Never.
happen.
Yeah.
Definitely, I would. I would throw
yeah.
no money. I have
Shoot
thrown
us-
no
Shoot us a
$0
review
in my
on
life.
Apple Podcasts. We're off the air. Link is in the show notes. Have a great night. Jackson, you want to say anything?
You know, I feel like for merch, I think the I don't know if I want the if I should we should go with the shirt with the anime titty 100 emoji, or actually my waifu is half spider, so jot that down.
So there we go. That's the big poll.
Both are very good.
Let us know which of those two sounds better, and we'll see about making it happen.
I think I lean towards
Bye,
the
everybody.
half wife, half spider.
And in case we don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.